And welcome to the Not So Late Show. Tonight, our guest will be...
Gretta Ray.
Hey, stop mindlessly scrolling your life away and tune in to the Not So Late Show on Instagram Live with your host, Brendan Love. Ooh, I gotta clean that lens. Welcome everybody to the Not So Late Show. I'm your host, Brendan Love. This week's fabulous guest is none other than Gretta Ray. Before we get into it, hello everybody. Hamish Fox, nice to see you. Thumbs up. Can't read from that far. Can you read that far?
Kind of. A little.
Yeah, I think I need glasses. Quick public service announcement. It is Yellow Bin Night in North Warrandyte. So Nillumbik Council, Yellow Bin goes out tonight. Again, let us know what bin night it is for you. It's always interesting to know, depending on what municipality or country you're watching from. Jimmy Breslin, nice to see you again. What bin night is it at your place?
I don't think. What day is it?
It's Sunday night.
Sunday night. No, it's not a bin night.
I don't. Yeah, but what bin night is your? Like when do your bins go out?
Thursday morning.
Thursday morning. Okay, so Wednesday night.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. That's Darebin City Council.
Moreland.
There you go, Moreland. Yep. Wednesday. Don't forget to take out. Is it green bin week this? Yellow or red bin week this week?
Yellow and green. Oh, I think yellow. I don't know. I'm stressed.
Okay.
I live with my parents, so I can't say I'm always responsible for the bin.
Okay. UK Liverpool Purple Bin Day. What's purple?
I don't know. Yeah, we don't have that.
Is that recycling or general waste? We would love to know. Friday night bin night in the Gold Coast. All right. Anyway, enough about bin night. That's just a running thing for the show. Hello, Emily South and Greta.
Oh my God. Hi, Emily.
You know Emily. We know a lot of the same people.
We do.
Yeah.
It's true.
The first thing I wanted to ask is Al said to ask me to ask you, what's your favourite thing about Al?
Oh my God, my favourite thing about Al? Probably the fact that I love everything about Al Parkinson, but I just think it's the fact that when I met her, she was doing So Far Sounds and it was my first gig, and I played the first song, and we just met, and the whole crowd's totally silent. I finished the song, and she just like screams out, like kind of half crying, half excited, "She's 16!" And it was just like, that was the first Al Parkinson moment I experienced, and then she saved my life, obviously.
Was that just like an exclamation, like she couldn't believe it though?
I mean, I hope so.
Yeah.
I hope it was a positive.
Yeah. Just like the audience, just like, she's 16 people! Clap! Yeah.
Please.
I mean, but I understand that exclamation though, because when I listen to her music, hey, just relax, alright? Musicians are never good at receiving compliments.
Yeah,
this is
no,
what I've
I
noticed.
know.
I'm sorry, but yeah, you can pretend. You can, I don't know, go over there while I give you some.
I'll just fidget with something.
Yeah, fidget with the tea thing. I got a funny story.
What was that?
That was the microphone. Very
We're just going to take away the microphone as I tell it.
Professional show rerun here.
Mm-hmm.
All right. No, I got a funny story about one of these, but I'll tell it later.
Okay.
What was I saying? Though your music,
16.
I can understand why someone would yell out, "She's 16," because when I listen to music, it doesn't sound. It sounds beyond its years.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm glad you think so.
Well, I certainly do. And as I was saying before, I reacquainted myself with your whole catalogue today. As I do whenever I have someone on, I just like to listen to their music. Mm-hmm. Sometimes I like jump on the wiki, but it's just like,
What's on the wiki?
For you?
Yeah.
I'm going to be honest, not much.
Okay.
Like,
I will cede to that.
No, there is, but I mean, just like the bio. Here's the bio. Gretta Ray is an Melbourne-based Australian musician.
Fact.
It was
You're like, that's it. It's one sentence.
It was like 2 lines, and then it was like she won Triple J's Unearthed 2016, as well as the Vader something prize.
Vander and Young.
Yes, she won that, and her latest release is. Oh God, I should know this. Her hit. What's the song?
Heal You in Time.
Heal You in Time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what's the one? Capo on the Third with the.
Ooh!
Yeah.
Wow.
See, there you go. I know how to play the song. I just don't know what it's called.
Oh my gosh, you do really? How cool.
I do. Yeah, because anyway, we'll get into that. I'm getting excited. If we start talking about music stuff, I'll get far too into it. Wikipedia, she was once 16. There you go, that's what it says.
She was once 16.
And I mean, it's true.
Comedy gold. I mean, yes, it wasn't. It was a while ago now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, and I know you're probably sick of talking about, stuff from when you were 16 or whatever, but we have to go chronological.
Oh no!
Because I was listening to that first EP, and yeah, it was just such a mature body of work. But the lyric, like everything about it was there. Lyrics, the arrangements, just everything, all the stuff that I love in music, particularly on the production side of things. I was just like, yes, it's ticking all of the boxes.
Oh, thank you.
And then it gets to the last song, which I forget the title of again. What's it called? Blank White Canvas. That's my favourite song.
Thank you.
Off that EP, possibly of yours, maybe.
Thanks. There is something about that particular song. I don't know. I think sometimes when you're writing, because I'm very much of the belief that creativity is a very spiritual thing, and that we're kind of vessels for songs or pre-existing songs, basically, and we just have to find them. I've read a lot of books about this, and that's kind of where I stand with it. And sometimes songs just fall out of the sky, and then you just serve to be the thing that expresses it. And with that song, I got to tour with Mumford & Sons at the start of 2019. Name drop. But I took that, I had that on my set list, and there was, I think, I wanted to bring a song that I'd written when I was 15 to these really big venues, because there was a lot of optimism in Blank White Canvas. I think you can really hear, I don't know, I just wanted to have this job. I just wanted to be in the music industry and perform my songs and to be an artist. It was all I wanted, and that EP was released before anyone kind of knew anything that I was doing. It's the first thing that I put out into the world. So there was no thought going into these songs I wonder what people are going to think of this. Are they going to like this? Is this structured well? It was just, this is how I feel. This is what I want out of life. And it wasn't about a boy or a particular relationship or anything. It was probably the first song that I wrote that was just about my identity and exploring my sense of self as well. So, yeah.
Well, I think that makes it even more impressive to know that then, because it's the transference of that feeling and emotion comes through effortlessly.
Thank you.
So it's, objectively you can look at it later on and be like, wow, wait, that chorus, and then it goes down to the minor 6, and then the way the strings are complementing,
I'm really glad you appreciate this, because we put a lot of work into this.
Oh yeah, no, trust me, anyone that knows me knows how much I obsess about this sort of stuff, and I sit there and notice those there's stuff where I'm like, that's not an accident.
Oh, no.
The stuff I hear, I'm like, that's no accident. And that's one particularly, there's lots of, the way it develops, it's just, and at the end when it drops away, it's just the acoustic. Oh. Anyway, great chords as well.
Thank you.
Here's a random question. You seem to be a capo first fret kind of person.
Oh my god, yeah. I am. I think I'm just a capo kind of person.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I've noticed, I was just playing along today, and I was like, capo first fret. I was like, this is...
Bit of a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, first or second, for sure.
I guess it's just your range, first, second, third, kind of.
Yes, low.
Yeah,
low in the vocal.
Song is capo third, so.
Yes, that's not me playing guitar on that song. That's Kieran Daniel. How are you going? Taxi? Do we need to?
That was almost the story I got to tell you about this thing. But go on, Kieran.
Kieran Daniel, so he co-wrote and produced Heal You in Time.
Right.
And we were sitting in his apartment, and he was playing a bunch of guitar ideas, and I was just kind of sitting there waiting for an idea to happen, I suppose. And we were working on a bunch of different songs at the time, so we were just kind of throwing paint at the wall and seeing what stuck. And then he came upon those chords, and then I was like, yep, that is going to unlock something in my head, and I'm going to write something to that. And then we wrote this whole other song around it, but it just wasn't quite it. Had a totally different narrative, had a bunch of different melodies, and he produced this whole track that I could top line to, because that's how I've been writing songs recently.
Top line. She's in the industry, folks.
I am, yeah. So less of me writing to instrumentation that I am writing, and more composing to other people's stuff, which has actually opened a lot of doors in terms of new ideas and new chords. And but then I was like, this isn't quite the story that I want this song to tell. I think there's something else in this. And so I kind of scrapped everything that we had. And I was just really into the conversation about climate change at the time, and I really felt like I wanted to put it into song. But for me, it is difficult to write about things that aren't relationships at this point. I'm just learning to branch out and to adapt in that sense. So when I was writing that song, I think I just kind of made the decision that I was going to write about the planet like it was a person. And I was like, I think this will help access my emotions surrounding this particular situation and say what I want to say. And then I brought that back to Kieran and we finished the song.
Yeah. I mean, it's interesting the way that you say, like, you know, perhaps wanted to move away from writing about relationship and stuff. And I often wonder, like, it always ends up, for some reason, that just seems to be such a place that it ends up or starts from. And I don't know, not to get too philosophical, but I don't know whether it's like a relationship is like the ultimate bifurcation of like being. It's also, it's the polarization of existence in a way. And so as an archetype within a song, a relationship is like a very strong image to write from.
Yes.
So sometimes it's, you know, might not even be about a particular relationship or person, but it's just framed in that way.
Yeah.
I don't know, it could be just going on, but, you know. But.
Oh, no, totally. I definitely agree. It's, I think, always going to be the most accessible thing, I think. But I guess I've been writing my debut album over the past 18 months, and there have been a lot of songs that have emerged that are much more about my relationship with myself, which, apart from Blank White Canvas, I haven't really gotten into a lot because I've been so focused on just nailing a really good love song or nailing a really good breakup song. But it's been really exciting to stumble upon these songs that are just much more about my identity. And yeah, a lot of time being on my own as well has made for a lot of self-reflection and has definitely impacted the music. So, yes.
Let's jump into that because I really want to talk about the new album being worked on, or debut album.
Yeah.
And when you were talking before about, I guess, the process and stuff, also I'm just very interested to know about the production and the writing and all of that going into the album and whether there's an overarching theme or, as you say, I mean, it already to me sounds like it may be a little bit more of an introspective album.
Yeah, for
as
sure.
far as, you know, self-discovery, but give me the goss.
Okay, well, it's definitely like a coming-of-age album for sure. I mean, it was probably always going to fall into that category just because I'm 22 and this is between me releasing an EP that kind of came out straight after I was just getting into the music industry and adjusting and performing, going on tour and getting used to all these things and meeting new people and, you know, getting to know record labels and booking agents and all of these new things. So I think you can definitely hear in the songs there's a bit of a wow factor at the beginning of the record for sure. Like, oh, these new and exciting things are happening. And then there's just this devastating heartbreak right in the middle of the album. So we like work through that, but then I think we come out on the other side with, yeah, a lot of the self-reflective kind of songs. So it definitely, for me, it checks a lot of boxes in terms of the things that you have to move through and the things that I've really been leaning on music to move through for a debut record, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Without getting too personal, was the heartbreak, like, was actually a thing? Like, you don't mean just music?
Oh, no, not just music, 100%.
Oh, like, okay.
It was a legitimate
thing.
thing.
Life, and then that.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. Well, don't get too personal. I just thought maybe you meant, like, musically it's...
Well, I mean, I don't think we should tiptoe around the fact that I've had some pretty direct, specific breakup songs, you know? I think that's been a big thing that people have focused on, you know? Radio Silence is definitely, like, that's a pretty tough song to sing live, for sure. But...
We've all been sitting there, looking at that phone, waiting for the text, seeing the thing come up where they're typing, and then it goes away, and you're just like,
oh, wow, this hurts.
Part of my
bro.
soul went away when those bubbles went as well.
Yeah, for sure. But I guess what was actually amazing about that song was that a lot of messages that I got about it, people were saying, oh, I know that this is about a romantic relationship ending, but I've been going through a really tough time with my best friend and we haven't been speaking, and I've really been turning to this song. So these kind of things can be interpreted in many different ways, for sure.
And and I mean that's the magic, so to speak. Well, that's what I find appealing about songwriting is that it can be something very specific to you. Like, you know what I mean? It's like Suzanne was a woman and she did feed him teen oranges by the river. You know what I mean? I don't doubt that Suzanne was a real person that lived by the river. But it's like, to me, that's, you know, that's something else. Like, I'm not Leonard Cohen, so that image for me isn't relevant. But, you know, that's what I love about it. It's just like, oh, well, you know, I can relate to the idea of maybe a person like Suzanne.
Yeah.
Which goes down by the river and gives you tea and oranges that come all the way. Anyway, no, not a Leonard Cohen fan?
No, I am.
Right.
But I don't know that one specifically.
You don't know Suzanne? Oh, boy.
Well, let's talk about.
You're going to hear about this.
Joni Mitchell, or like James Taylor, or like
Yeah.
Simon.
Okay, I don't know your influences. I ask you can pepper them in about the new album. You know, like talking about sounds and, you know, influences and stuff like that.
Good things.
You were saying before Blake Mills was it?
Oh, huge. Yeah, 100%.
Which is interesting because he's not. I mean, like I love him too, but he's not your go-to kind of.
No, I mean.
You got to go out of your way a little bit to discover him, I think.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
He's not showy at all as an artist. You really, and then you come across and you're like, whoa, what's this project? I got really into his album Break Mirrors just after I recorded Elsewhere, or maybe around the time that we were recording it, actually. Okay. That and Laura Marling's Once I Was an Eagle, like, were all that I listened to forever. And then the universe just did this thing and they collaborated for Laura Marling's album Semper Femina, and he produced it.
Yes.
Yeah, it was a really big time for me in my life when that record came out. I was like, no way, this is not happening. My musical mum and dad getting together, making the best record ever. But yeah, no, he's fantastic, and he was actually a session musician. Like, he was a guitarist for, I think, Jackson Browne maybe at one point, and a lot of different people. And I think there have been a lot of cases where a session guitarist has gone, I'm going to be a songwriter now, and I'm going to make an album. And you can hear in that record, you're waiting for their really impressive guitar solo in the song. You're waiting for that moment where they're like, oh yeah, but this is my forte. And you don't hear that in Blake Mills records. You hear amazing, amazing guitar playing, but it's interwoven into equally quality lyrics, I think. And yeah, I think I've watched a couple of little docos and things, and a lot of people were really taken aback by just how good the songs were. And yeah, his use of chords, that new song that he's put out called Summer All Over.
Yeah. I keep coming back to, what is it? If I'm not worthy, the power... Oh, man.
If I'm unworthy. That was the first one that I heard.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so my guitarist kind of played that to me.
There's no gimmickry with the playing in that whatsoever. I mean, it actually is. He makes it sound easy because that actually is quite hard to play.
Yeah,
because he's playing the bass and the eighth note feel. Anyway, whatever. He's doing all of that whilst singing. But anyway, the other thing too is, I mean, because he's a producer, and yeah, you're right. Sometimes if a producer is like a bass player or a guitarist, you know, it's always like, here comes guitar solo time, or here comes guitar counter melody time. Whereas with him, it's like, you know, you listen to Alabama Shake's album and it's so refined. There's not that moment of like, here comes the big solo, you know?
No, never, which I really do love. But I think people are very struck by his restraint because he's so good, but he chooses to kind of showcase that in very appropriate portions. He's like, I'm a genius, but I'm just going to keep it a secret.
Yeah, I stumbled across that. Sort of what would you call it? I don't know. I feel like my playing, right? I get away with pretending that I'm better than I am, but I'm choosing not to be. But people just don't know that I'm not good. You know what I mean? So it's like, oh, he plays so simply. And I'm like, yeah. Really, the reality is it's like not a virtue, it's just the limit of my abilities. But anyway, that's a little self-deprecation for the show.
Couldn't go without it. It's vital.
Yeah, but let's go back to, I want to know what it's like. I guess I'm curious because it's like we, came into this a little bit old. Well, we started playing, but we didn't have anything to do with the industry side of things until later. And it scared the crap out of me when I was 29 and getting phone calls from labels and all that. And I was like, I don't know what they want. And it's confusing and there's publishers and I don't know, and you don't know what any of it is. So I can't imagine what it's like being younger and having to be confronted with that sort of, I don't want to say the vultures circling, but you know what I mean.
Oh, yeah.
The proverbial vultures circling.
Yes. It was interesting. It was Probably, and it wasn't even just to do with the fact that I was young, it was probably more so to do with the fact that I was in year 12 and I was very studious and I wanted to do really well. And then things kind of blew up right when it was time to start studying for exams, which is a little inconvenient. Obviously, it wouldn't take, but I also thought, great idea to go on tour with Japanese Wallpaper as a part of his band at the same time. But I think I was in the mindset of, you know what? If anyone wants something done, they ask a busy person. I'm going to be able to do all of these things. I wanted to prove it to all of my teachers that I could go on tour and I could play my own shows, but I could also do my 3 literature essays that were due on Monday. So that was actually probably the challenge, was balancing my kind of need to do well in school, because I really wanted that for me, and because I'd chosen subjects that would help my music as well.
What did you do? What were your subjects? What was your jam?
Oh my gosh, now I'm like, will I remember them?
Well, you would have English, surely.
English, and then English Lit, Music Investigations, and Studio Arts Photography.
Studio Arts Photography, oh yes. That will lead nicely into the co-direction of the Drive video, but we'll talk about that later.
Oh, sick.
Yeah, see, I did my research. Studious, it's very interesting, because before you mentioned that, you know, this is what I want to do, music. But yet you still had that, got to do well for VCE, which I applaud. Like, I dropped out of school. I was terrible at school. So I'm impressed by anyone that can have that focus. And, you know, like, if I was that age and someone came along and was like, do you want to go play music? I'd be like, see ya! English books in the bin, you know, like,
Well, I mean, for example, in my song Drive, the first lyric is, I've been spaced out in an absent dream. The in an absent dream is a direct quote from a poem that I was analysing at the time in literature. So I owe so much of, like, I mean, that in itself is just a very specific example, but I do owe so much of what happened that year in terms of the success with the music to school and what I was studying and the books that I was reading and the fact that I was immersing myself in all of that. And I know that sounds really nerdy, but I was at Princess Hill. I had great teachers who
Music's a nerd. Like, musicians are nerds.
Well, yeah. And people were very understanding and they let me do what I needed to do. Al saying something. I remember when you were doing your VCE, you were so hardworking, Greta. Thanks, Al. I tried my best. But yeah, and it was a really good period of time. And so it was mainly, just coming back to your question, it was much more for me about finding that balance between this really exciting thing that was going on outside of that world and then also finishing school and feeling really good about that and then getting into it after it was done.
Yeah. So you're saying that, and I'd read as well, that, like, poetry, literature is a big influence on you in your songwriting, particularly in your use of, like, your vocabulary and perspicacious nature with words. And I've noticed that too. There's definitely words that I hear where I go, I haven't heard that in a song before.
Oh,
it's
sick.
refreshing because it catches you. I think it actually keeps you invested as a listener.
Thank you. Okay, good. I'm glad.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's, there's musical sort of, I don't know, like, not strategies, techniques that you can use that will, you know, like, you can push and pull and grab attention, but just the phonetics of words, I think, is very important sometimes too, because it's almost like, you know, when a song's just, or like a poem's just like, ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba, ba-da-ba-da-ba-da, and then it rhymes, and you just like, sometimes you're like, why don't you just make that bit not rhyme?
Yeah.
You know, and then you'll pay attention. Anyway, I'm getting off
topic.
No. So you're influenced by poetry and you're interested in literature and your songwriting, as in the lyrics, but I want to know where you get this. You do a very unique thing vocally with your vocal melodies, and you have very wide intervals as far as...
Yeah, that's really annoying. No.
It's the amount of people that have asked me about it. I did a writing session with someone, and they were saying that you were a big influence on them, and they said they specifically liked that fact that you can be singing in, you know, in one register, and then the melody will jump really wide, which is, you know, sometimes, like, in music theory, it's like, people would be like, oh no, but you got to put the third and then lead up to that seven, or getting too nerdy. But again, when that happens, I think it grabs your attention. And I'm thinking, like, one example is in Drive in the second verse. The thing where I can't, I need a guitar to remember it. I can't have but one. So it starts like at the root and then it jumps up and it's like, ooh, spicy. So where does that come from?
Oh, man.
Or does it just happen?
I mean, I feel like it just happens, but I don't know. I listen to a lot of... I just grew up very immersed in lots of different singer-songwriters, and I think I just loved complicated melodies and lyrics so much, and I think that's why my songs are so full in that sense, because I just want to fit all the things in the way that the songs did that inspired me, for sure. With the register thing, though, yeah, I don't really know what that's about. I think I just want to say a lot, and I love to belt and sing out, but at the same time my comfort vocally is much more in like an alto range. Yeah, I don't know. I wish I had a more specific answer for you, but...
That's fine, let's just keep it magic, you know, because it's beautiful, so you don't have to, you don't have to think about what you're doing.
Thank you. Well, I do when I'm recording the vocal for the first time, and then I'm like, wow, another song with no breathing space. Okay.
Yeah.
Like, it's
I
not...
think that is I know exactly what you're talking about, and this may sound pretentious, but I just think that is it's like, not a youthful, but it's like, I look at all the songs I wrote, you know, like, not related to how old I was, but just related to when I started songwriting. And it's like, you know, they're like raps.
Yeah.
Like,
oh my gosh.
You're trying to cram so much into it, and then like, I don't know, the older I get, or like the more I write songs, the more it's just an acoustic and like I think Blue Eyes Crying in the Rain by Willie Nelson is like a masterpiece of lyricism. It's so simple, but there's so much packed into. It's like a haiku of songwriting. And like for me, that's the hardest thing, is like taking out the stuff. I'm always trying to like distill it down, but I feel like I got to sit at the stove stirring it and checking on it and putting extra spices in. And you don't need that spice, Brendan. You know? Anyway, enough about me.
No, totally. I get what you mean, and I think even, I mean, I would say that the songs on my album that I've just written, they're still quite full and they're still quite lush, but at the same time, when I go to sing songs from Here and Now, my last EP, I do struggle. I was singing them the other day for the first time in a while, doing some practice, and I was like, yep, wow, these are very difficult. Okay, I don't know why I thought I had to add that many extra syllables, but no worries. But it's very much about finding that balance between your taste and what you want to hear in your own work, and then also learning about the structure of songwriting. I've been doing so many pop sessions with pop heads, like massive pop producers and writers, and that's been so different in terms of where I came from. Like, my roots are in country and folk music, and I will always want to honour that and the songwriting and the storytelling in my music. But at the same time, I love pop music, and there was so much I wanted to learn about structure, because I wasn't really, like, my structure was very odd, I suppose, in a lot of the songs on the second EP. So I wanted to learn a little bit more about that, which I think I have. It's a bit more organised now. I'm hoping that comes across.
What's your what's your go-to like pop? I was talking before. One thing I don't like, just not just in other musicians, but anybody, is when they have a bit of a highfalutin, pretentious attitude towards pop music. Like it's a dirty word, and like, people are surprised when I say how much I love pop music, because it's like, oh, but you know, you guys play sort of soul and old sounding music, and it's like, yeah, but you know, like, I was listening to Katy Perry during the second album and like talking to the producer about like, I don't know, like Thriller or something like that.
Oh, so good.
And yeah, so there's always this attitude about like, oh, Katy Perry and Taylor Swift, and it boils my blood, because I'm like, if you actually took those songs and put it down and like analysed it, and
you would go, this is really hard music to write, actually.
Yeah,
really
and
hard.
it's really amazing. And the only thing that like the only thing that makes it pop is just the presentation. You know what I mean? It's the production. So it's like, you could take a Katy Perry song and get Laura Marling to sing it, and it's not going to sound like a pop song.
Yeah.
And people won't have that attitude. So it's just, it boils my blood, because it's like, but it's the same, you know what I mean? Like,
I think people get a little bit uncomfortable also with pop music. There's the association of things being showy as well, like, and the image being very kind of glitzy, and they think pop music equals fame, equals dumb people or whatever, you know, lacking in intelligence, which is just not true at all. But I don't know, I feel like I definitely went through a period of time where I just thought, oh, pop music equals 1019 The Fox, which I don't like that because it sounds just like noise to me. You know?
You're on the late night show. Gretta Ray.
But yeah, I don't know. You do need to have moments where, I don't know, you regain some perspective and you open your eyes to other things. And for me, with pop music, it was Japanese Wallpapers music, for sure. It was listening to Between Friends for the first time, and being so moved by that vocal and the writing and the simplicity and Gab's restraint in his production as well. He has the same... He's so good, but there was only a way of him doing it in a sense that, I don't know, it's very calm and it's very balanced, and you know that he could just go all out if he wanted to, but he keeps this really lovely balance, and it was just so moving as a song. And I remember listening to it and going, oh, I can actually, this is pop music, and I can be moved by this. This is giving me full body shivers, and it's a pop song, you know.
Yeah.
But I say that like I didn't listen to pop music years and years before that and totally enjoy it as a kid as well. But yeah, you go through factors for sure.
Yeah, for me, it's just all about the mode and the presentation. I think it's like, you know, sometimes you feel like listening to a specific kind of music, and for me, like, it's like I love the sensibility of pop hooks and what makes things catchy to people. And like, if you broke down our albums, you'd never guess that like a lot of the mechanisms that I'm using as far as melodies and like counter melodies are coming straight from pop songs. It's just they're recorded in an old way. But it's also, there's that attitude thing where it's just like, you can't ever assume someone's intention. You know what I mean? It's like, if someone's intention is to create a song that appeals to a lot of people, that makes them feel good, then it's like, you know, in what sense is that not valid as an artistic expression? I don't like that comparative thing of just like, oh, well, this indie band is cool, but this isn't. It's just like, you either like it or you don't, and if you don't, just move on.
Well, totally. I
just get really frustrated.
Oh, no.
Like when people, like the internet, like these days, like when people, like, just say horrible things about other musicians and our friends, you know, like people we know. And it's like, you cannot like it, that's fine. Just don't listen to it.
Oh, totally. My thing with that conversation is, I feel like I like anything that is just done really well. And people can be so dismissive of that genre because they associate it with certain things or people or images or radio stations or whatever. But I think that it's good to just look at a song objectively and be like, okay, maybe this isn't my taste, but has heaps of intention and hard work and thought gone into this. Yes. Okay, well then I'm going to appreciate it for that. There are so many incredibly hardworking people in pop music, and it's just been such a privilege to get an insight into that world for the first time over the past couple of years and totally fall in love with that genre and respecting how those songs are made.
Yeah. And also, it's like, you know, who can deny? Just sometimes you're in your car and you just want to be a bit of like, you make me feel like I'm living up. And it's like...
That song,
I
okay.
feel like I'm 17 and I'm in a convertible in California right now.
I read an article on that song and it never goes to the major chord.
Yeah.
Do you know the article?
Oh, I don't know the article, but I just know that song,
so it holds
the mode
you
that song is written
in that anticipated space. So the whole time you're listening, you're like, what's going to happen? And it never quite lands, but it's so great. And the offbeat guitar strums as well, which makes you want to go back and listen to it again. You're like, what is this? It's so smart.
Yeah, and like one step further is it opens up playing two notes from the root of the chord, the one, right? So it's just the ding, 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 you think I'm funny, and I tell the punch, right? So it's doing that, and your ear is expecting to hear that one, and then the bass comes in and starts on the six, and it's like, oh,
God,
you know what I mean? Like,
so good.
Like
that record, there is just no skips.
No,
that's what they say
absolutely.
On the internet when the album comes out. No skips.
Yeah, although I do have a little love-hate relationship with it now because I blame Katy Perry for breaking my foot.
Okay.
She broke my foot.
Whoa, all right, please unpack this right now.
No, there's nothing to unpack. Katy Perry, like, physically broke my foot.
What?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway.
I have so many questions that just came into my head. What about you guys?
I've been spaced out. We were talking about that before. Branched out. Oh, people are just writing lyrics.
They're just having a sing.
Yeah, I shouldn't try
Good
and
on
read
ya.
them because I look weird when I lean in. Anyway, yes, I love... No, I was listening to Firework and I was running and I was just into it too much and it got to the bridge. It was raining, it was muddy.
Oh my
I
gosh.
slipped over and there we had it. So I blame Katy Perry.
Oh, okay. I understand now.
Yeah. It's good running music. The BPM is perfect for
Oh, yeah,
cadence to run.
totally. I love finding songs and being like, yep, all right, cool. Treadmill song, running song. This is going to work for me.
Exercise song. Depressed in my room being lonely song. Check. Oh, I've got plenty of them.
Good running song is Bloodline by Ariana Grande.
I don't know.
Perfect. Yeah, that's off the latest record, Thank You Next.
Okay.
Great album.
Yeah.
I listened to it like maybe minimum 3 times a day for like 2 months after its release.
Wow.
I was so into it.
Okay.
I love her.
I was watching you were doing Harry Styles pop music.
Oh yes, Harry Styles, Mad Respect. Have you listened to that album?
I haven't, no. I heard, I don't listen to I don't listen to the radio. I legitimately don't listen to the radio. Because it's just like this day and age, it's like, who watches TV anymore? You just watch Netflix because you can choose.
Because you can choose what you...
And it's the same as streaming services. It's like, who listens to the radio anymore? 20 past 12, you're on Triple J. No,
Yeah, but the best, though.
The
so
what?
good. The best.
What do you mean?
Triple J is the best.
Oh, right.
That is a station that I would definitely listen to. In a non-biased way.
Yeah, I just can't tell. I'm just like, okay.
Oh, no, 100%.
Yeah, okay.
But also, there's just so much gold on unearthed that no one knows about yet.
Yeah.
You got to keep checking out that stuff.
Well, I don't know. People always get angry because I don't look at the thing, but I just get too excited to talk to someone. And like, by the way, this is the first episode we've done with someone in the same room for months. So
Really?
you have to.
I drove out here.
Yeah, respect. No, we've just been doing the split screen thing.
Oh,
So,
right, yeah.
Yeah, this is the first time. This is like the first time someone's been in my house for months.
Well, I mean, true, we are in the midst of a global pandemic. I had forgotten.
Yeah.
God.
No, your Instagram. I was watching you do like album reviews or track by track breakdowns.
Yes.
So what's tickling your fancy right now besides Ariana Grande?
Ooh, oh my goodness, so many things. Well, the last album that I reviewed, which was this time last week, and then I said I needed to take a 2-week break because it was the 1975's latest release.
Okay.
Notes on a Conditional Form, which is 22 songs long.
Yeah, that's a lot of tracks.
Yeah, and I saw a review that was like, no skips. I was like, questionable. No, it's a great album. It's so good, but it is a little bit too long for my liking.
Okay.
But that is great. I think they're just fantastic. Mm-hmm. I don't know, it's really great hearing a brand new record from a band that has just become so phenomenally influential in music. And as soon as, they have something new to give, all of the producers start being like, oh, can we make this sound like a 1975 thing? Everyone falls back in love with them. So, yeah. Also, this band called Moona. I listened to their album on the way here.
Moona?
Yeah.
I haven't heard of it.
Ooh. They're really special. So they're 3 girls, and they actually opened for Harry Styles in 2017.
Right.
But that's not how I found them. Alex Hope played one of their songs to me in a co-write. And then I had friends... What are we reading?
Sorry, my friend...
Frail State of Mind. Yes, I see you.
My friend said he's putting new bootlaces in his boots. I was like, well,
Cool, man.
thanks for letting us know.
But yes, and then I got reintroduced to Moona again, and eventually I really stuck with them, and now I'm in that top 1% of listeners on Spotify.
Wow.
Did you get a notification for that?
I don't listen to Spotify.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Yes, Moon is so good. Everyone go and listen to them. MUNA.
Okay. Yeah, I'll check it out. I always need new things to listen to. Actually, I think this is the start of something good here because you seem like you've got your finger on the pulse a lot more than me. I'm always the last to the party on everything. I don't ever discover something new. For example, I'm embarrassed to say this, but 2 weeks ago, I was like, what is this Phoebe Bridgers thing everyone's on about?
No.
I literally never heard it. And then I put the
you're
album
so
on,
late.
And then I know. And then I listened to it all the way through. I was like, this is incredible.
Oh, isn't it just...
And then I'm telling people and they're like, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's
Everyone
me.
knows.
Yeah, I'm always late to the party. But it kind of makes it exciting, though, because I can, like, I don't know, that album came out and I didn't hear it. I didn't hear it on the radio, so no one introduced me to it. And then I found this thing and I was like, oh.
What did you find, out of curiosity? What was the first thing that you found? Like the song?
Of hers?
Yeah.
I just literally started at the her album, so the first, whatever the first song,
Oh, yeah.
Circling, that song,
Smoke
whatever that is.
Signals.
Yeah, I just put the album on because somebody had mentioned it in passing, and I was like, yeah, I'll check that out.
Oh.
And then, and I was like, what is this witchcraft?
It is witchcraft. My best friend found her, I feel like, before she totally went on. Yeah.
You knew them before?
No, but like for real. And then
they played at the
you don't
Forum?
understand. And then she was like our little thing. And then we all went travelling together and we came back to Australia and everyone was like, yeah, I'm really into Phoebe Bridgers. And we were like, what's happened? And now she's taken over.
Actually, I did notice a slight sense of consternation when I said that, because you were just like, oh, you dickhead.
No, it's okay.
So
I actually had a friend say to me the other day that they had just listened to the Casey Musgraves record for the first time, and I was like, I don't know if I can talk to you about this.
Yeah.
Because I spent so much time with that record. It's just like...
Do you get a
so
lot of
good.
people being like, we used to listen to you before Here and Now came out? You know, like, do you get that stuff as well?
Gosh. Not really.
No? Okay.
I think... I mean, there are people that have come to lots of shows since I started playing shows before Drive was out,
Yeah, okay.
and that's always really nice.
Because I knew you
But-
back in the Some Velvet Morning days.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I just remember someone was just like, you gotta go see this girl. I was like, alright. So, yeah.
Wait, as in like, if you see her, say hello days?
No, I think pre that almost. Or maybe it
No
was.
way. Wow.
Yeah, it was a long time ago.
Original gangster.
Wow,
Respect.
Yeah, but you know, now I'm just like, just gotta find something else. It's just a bit too popular
Just
for
a
me
little
now, you know. It's not quite indie or like niche enough. So now I'm into this like Iranian band. They mostly play like pots and pans and like
So underground.
cutlery. Yeah. It's kind of unlistenable, but yeah, it's like really cool. Yeah. Anyway, we went.
Hope you guys are enjoying this.
I don't care. Here's my thing with this show. I don't care. 'Cause
Yeah,
you can just
that's
turn it off
good.
and go do something else.
That's true.
And I make an effort for this not to be about the Teskey brothers as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I often see people will say things, which is lovely. Throwback to the porch sessions
Opening
in
porch
ADL.
sessions in Adelaide.
Hell of a performance.
Thank you so much.
Were we there as well, or did we do it separate years?
I don't... Oh,
can't
well, no, it would
Yeah,
be
were we there at the
separate.
same... Oh, that's not Al.
That's not Al. That's Angus Bruce.
Yeah.
Hey, mate.
Oh.
Yeah, I was opening for Kyle Leinhart. Do you know that guy?
Do I know that? He'll be watching. He watches this show.
The legend.
What a dreamboat he is.
Oh, seriously.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the best. That was one of the things that I did in year 12 where I was like, just going to fly to Adelaide, pop over, play a show, go home, do my homework, go to bed. Yeah, it was a time.
Yeah, let's get into that. So, now that you've grown up singing in the choir and listening to Blake Mills and pretending not to like Taylor Swift even though you totally loved her.
Oh my god, I would never pretend to not like Taylor
You
Swift.
would have been cool and be like, oh, I don't listen to...
No, I've always given credit where it's due.
Okay, great.
Always.
So you go from that and then you go into the touring thing, right? How good is going to bed?
Hey, it's great.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, you
Finish
know what?
the show, go to bed.
Yeah, one time I played a show and then I went back to the hotel, got into bed and I just watched The Sinner. That's
Oh, yeah, the
Jim,
series.
yeah.
Yeah,
I watched
yeah.
the series and Jono and Connor were both still at the show. And I was
Yeah.
like, yeah, but the bed was here, it's nice.
Yeah, that's my
Yeah.
that's my jam.
I'm glad that's also your brand.
Oh, I never go out ever.
Okay.
The last tour we did, we were really lucky because we did a bus tour,
Okay, cool.
and it literally it was life changing because I would and they were early shows because it was I don't know why they were early. They were just early shows, so sometimes a show would finish at 10 o'clock. And so I'd be hit the last note, and we were really lucky to have a crew. So I've always packed up and carried my gear and stuff, and this was the first tour where someone else has done that. So I was I couldn't believe it. So I was hit the last note, thank you, bass on the thing, and all right, 10 o'clock. There was one point, I think it was in maybe Berlin or something, hit the last note, all right, see you guys, went out the thing, had a shower in the venue. I was in bed by 10:20. there was people still at the venue.
Goals.
And I was like in the bus, just like watching my show or whatever. And I was like, now this is
This
living.
is living. Yeah, that's
Oh,
so
man.
good.
Yeah, the tour bus is a game changer as far as just like the time from stage to bed.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't had that experience, but I did go on the Gang of You's bus. I like went and saw it briefly. Actually,
Yeah.
I think I had a nap there, and then I went back out into the venue, and I was like, yeah, bus life's going to be a good time. Can't wait for that.
Yeah, if you can sleep on the bus, it's a good time.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little rocky, but it's kind of, it's nice. It kind of, you get this pleasing kind of sonorous, like, ooh, like
Yeah,
the engine's running.
yeah, for sure.
So it's just like someone with a baritone singing in your ear, and you're just like, oh, that's
Love
nice.
that.
Yeah, so you're a go to bed kind of tourer.
I mean, yeah, at the moment, I think I just have a thing with like, I don't know, I'm in my work brain the whole time that I'm in the space of the venue. Like when I'm on stage, when I'm speaking to people afterwards, beforehand, I'm nervous wreck before I jump on stage and making sure that everything's going to work out. But also, I haven't had heaps of experience with playing lots of shows. Like my longest tour was opening for Gang of Youths in North America, and that was 9 shows. And that was just me. I didn't have a band with me. And I mean, it was amazing. And I'm, you know, this year probably was going to be the first opportunity wherein I was hoping that I could play more shows, because I just want the practice of kind of getting more of a sense of routine and getting comfortable on stage as well. Because I've thought about how I want to execute a show since I was about 7 years old.
How do you want to execute a show?
Oh, just do a really good job, and everything just goes down super well, and I sing every note right, and I'm really, like, charismatic, and the crowd loves it, and they're all smiling, like, very unrealistic expectations. People don't always smile. You know when you see someone in a crowd and they're not smiling, and you're like, shit, they're not having a good time, and I'm responsible. It's really not a vibe.
Yeah.
Why is that in my head all the time?
I don't know. I mean, it's easier for me because I'm not like for a band. It's, you know, the attention is spread, and there's not the central figure of, like, you're driving, like, you know, you're driving there, like, you're flying the airplane, and you're responsible for that audience as far as, you know, making them feel like you're in control. And they always talk about that, like, there's nothing worse than, you know, when someone's like, oh, like when I was first starting out and playing small gigs, and then you'd see people like, oh, I just wrote this, and they're tuning, and from day one I was like, treated it like any other profession. It's like, hands out of your pockets, mate, and just you're on. And yeah, and it's that thing of like the difference between making an audience feel comfortable to where they can be open to receive a performance, because you know, if there's any sense of like they're not in control here, you can just feel the audience go like, ugh.
Oh, 100%, yeah.
It's exactly the reason why the pilot comes on and goes, good evening, ladies. Flying at 30,000 feet. Nobody cares. You don't need to know what altitude the plane's flying, but you need that feeling that, this guy's onto it.
Yes.
You know, he knows what he's doing, and he can speak with that voice that does that. And then you're relaxed
and
on the
you're
plane.
chilled out. That's
Whereas,
so
you know, imagine
true.
if the pilot came on and they were like, I just learnt yesterday how to fly this. Girlfriend just broke up with me. You know.
Yeah, no, that's a very interesting analogy.
Yeah. I don't know how we got onto that, but anyway.
We did.
Yeah. Gee, look at the time.
I know. It's flown by.
Flies by. All right. I want to talk more about this album.
Okay.
Yeah. Give me stuff about it.
Okay.
Like, you know, where have you been recording? Have producers you've been working with?
Yeah, okay.
If you can talk about that.
I can talk about that. Basically, the process of writing this album for me was very different from how I'd written anything else before. So the first 2 EPs that are out in the world, Elsewhere and Here and Now, I wrote all by myself, and just on the piano or on the guitar, and then I took those songs to a producer, Josh Barber. You know, he was the guy, took care of everything, and then just kind of grew the songs in that studio environment. In terms of making the album, it's been a case of going into the studio with lots of different people and writing the song in the space of a day, for the most part, or getting the bones of it done and then going back to it later. But getting demos, very quick turnaround, very upbeat, excited, energized experience. And I songwriting for me was so much about, I really need to make sure this sounds good and smart and great and everything has to be perfect. And I agonized over perfecting songs, and they would take me months and months to finish. So getting into co-writing, I think my team wanted me to start doing that just as a way of maybe trying to get a few more songs out of my system, and probably also break down those obstacles in my head of this isn't good enough, and this is never going to be good enough.
Yeah.
So I could actually finish some more stuff. And ultimately that has grown me as a writer a lot, because it's meant that I've gotten a lot more content made, which means I've learned a lot more, and you learn to collaborate and work with lots of different experienced writers and producers and trust their instinct and take on board their opinions while also still having your vision as well. So that's been basically how we've approached writing the album, is lots of different co-writes.
Any moments where you were just like, no?
You know what? Not really. I met some really, really wonderful people over the past couple of years, and just had some really great days. I mean, you do have moments where you get a bit stuck and you're in this space for like half an hour or 40 minutes and you're like, wow, I really can't find this word or phrase or way I want to say this. But I think you just have to trust the process. And there's a lot of... The thing about collaborating with people when you're writing is there's a lot of celebration for each other's work and skill, but also when you present an idea, rather than having your censor go, oh my gosh, no, not smart enough, not clever enough, you just have someone go, yeah, I totally get what you mean, yeah, cool.
Yeah.
And then you clock that and go, right, that's actually fine, I can move on to the next lyric now.
Yeah.
So it doesn't mean that we've gotten a bunch of songs that it's been like, yes, they're all positive and they're all good and we'll put them all on the album, but it did mean that the songs were written in those environments with that energy. And then what I did with those demos was I narrowed them down. We wrote about 50 songs for the album, which was huge for me, just because with the EPs it was like, these are the songs I have. That's all that I have. No options, this is what you get.
Yeah.
But we did have options with the album, so I narrowed it down. And I took them back to a producer called Robbie Desar, who is based in Sydney, and we grew the songs together. So we took the demos and we actually took the stems from the producers and writers and then looked at them and went, okay, what can we take out? What can we add to this? So I got a chance to actually put live drums on the songs rather than them just being track drums, MIDI drums or whatever. And I got to play grand piano because I wanted the warmth of the piano in there, and I wanted real instruments still. But I wanted the feeling and the magic and the spark that the demos had. So that's how we've made the album, really. So I've been doing that up in Sydney. I was in December and January, and then I moved to London to do all of the content creating, and then I came right home because of COVID-19. So, we will resume that when it's time, but I am so excited for people to hear the new songs for sure, just because it's been such a good learning experience for me. And I'm really proud of the album.
Whenever I go into either whether it's stuff we're doing or something that I'm producing, I always talk about the colour palette that you're using for that specific album. For this album, how would you describe the palette, so to speak?
Ooh, oh man, it's so hard to define. I think with the EPs, they felt very pastel to me. And we used that with the aesthetics and the cover art and whatnot. They felt very pastel and light and content, and just that was how they were. I feel like the album is much more bright and daring, and there's a few risks there. There's some colours that don't quite go together. It's a bit more gritty. I don't really think of it as a colour palette. I probably think of it as much more a landscape. And I'm hoping that that's how people interpret it as well.
Yeah. Well, I can't wait to hear it and analyse it and get out my little chart and do my arrangement.
I'm excited for that.
It gets nerdy. We're getting towards the end of the show
We
here.
are.
But I wanted to ask, something I get sick of people asking me is you must be writing lots of songs in lockdown. And we're like, you'd be surprised, mate. You'd be surprised how uninspiring it is to be at home by yourself doing not much. So I wanted to ask, what things outside of music have you been doing to pass the time? Hobbies, cooking, reading, what are you...
I have been doing... Do you know the book The Artist's Way by Julia Cameron?
I do.
Yeah. Have you done it?
I haven't. No, but a
Okay.
friend has told me all of it. You just reminded me. So a while ago, a friend said, you should read this and do it. And I went, yeah, I definitely will. And I didn't.
Yeah.
And you've just reminded me to do it.
I tried to do it a couple of years ago and I made up excuses and went, I don't really have time. There's no excuse right now to not do it. And it's been really good, so I'll quickly give the people a rundown. Basically, it's a book that it's 12 weeks and you read a chapter a week and the author gets you to do a bunch of tasks. Some are writing tasks, some are just creative. It's all about creative recovery, basically. And you go on a little artist date, which is basically like just time spent with yourself and with your artist child. Just go and read it. And if anyone's heard of the morning pages, they come from The Artist's Way. So that's 3 pages of stream of consciousness writing first thing in the morning, every morning. So a lot of creative writing is what I've been doing during this time, and a lot of reading. And just other creative-based things that aren't songwriting, because I feel like this is a really good time for intentional artist recharging. Lots of going out into nature as well.
Yes.
The 1,000 Steps have opened back up.
Oh, there
My
you go.
favourite place.
You can see, well, it's night time, but you can see 1,000 Steps from my balcony.
Okay, no
so,
way. Oh.
yeah.
Yeah, I love them so much. So yeah, lots of nature time, creative writing time, and spending time with my little sister, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, she's equally as busy a person as I am, and she is doing a full-time dance course, and we just kind of we lived together, but we missed each other over the years just because I'd be travelling and she would be upstairs studying, or she would be at dance and I would be on tour. Mm-hmm. And now she's just like my best friend. So yeah, that's been what's been going on.
Well, that sounds lovely. One thing that I've developed unusual. I have a really very obsessive personality, so I'll start something and then I'll have to be the best at whatever it is I start, or know everything about it. Anyway, my latest thing is fragrances.
Ooh.
Scents and fragrances, and I've been going nuts over it. I wanted to ask, do you have a go-to fragrance or scent or a perfume that you would wear, or?
You know what? Because I'm really into candles at the moment, so I feel like I should have an answer for this. I've got one at the moment that kind of... I don't know the name of it, but it smells like a poppy seed cake. Okay. I'm kind of just I overdid coconut for years, so that's not it.
If you're going out or you're doing a show or something, and you're getting ready and you're doing hair and stuff, would you put something on?
I mean, yeah. I'm not super... I mean, I've probably put some really cheap, girly shit on over the years, for sure. Right, yeah. But probably, more fresh oceany smells rather than the really fruity stuff. Yeah. Because that to me is childhood, small girl.
Fruity is childhood.
Yeah. Okay. Teenage, awkward teenage times, Victoria's Secret.
Oh yeah,
you know.
That's Lynx, whatever I can't remember the boy, but
Lynx Africa.
Yeah, that was teenage. Yeah, I remember just watching dudes just spray it over their clothes and stuff.
It's that's not how it works, bro. Yeah. Oh, bad names.
Without being a weirdo, may I get your opinion on this scent?
That's a good scent. What is that?
It's called Patchouli 24.
Okay.
Lalabo, a boutique fragrance designer, which I just got. But I'm really, there's a leatherness to it. There's a smokiness. There's kind of...
You've gone in deep with this stuff. I'm
really
very
have.
impressed.
But anyway, so there we go. Lalabo. Oh, that's my friend. Anyway, I was just curious.
Yes.
Some people have a signature,
I wouldn't say I'm yet to find my signature.
I'm a very olfactory driven person. Scent is my thing. If I meet someone or I hug them, I'll remember that smell more than their face, probably.
Yeah.
When I got into this, I was like, why have I not
done this before?
Obsessed about this more. Anyway.
Okay. Well, you'll have to help me.
Yeah.
Discover the scent.
Yeah. We can do your fragrance profile and break it down.
I'm so excited.
Terre de hens. All right. Well, enough about my weird obsessions. Thank you, Greta, for coming on the Not So Late Show, and for coming out to Warrandyte as well.
Of course. It's good to see you.
It's a fair old drive for you, so...
No, it was okay, actually.
Okay.
Much faster than I thought.
Yeah. Well, it's not too bad. But it's a shame it's dark, though, because,
Yeah.
Yeah. There's good swimming holes out here. Do you ever come out here to swim?
No. but curious about that now. But we're going into winter, so
Yeah.
it might have to wait.
Well, come summertime, hopefully we'll see you out here. Anyway, thank you for tuning in, everybody. Have a great week. Remember Yellow Bin Night, North Warrandyte residents.
Yes.
Wednesday night in Moreland Council. And yes, we will see you next week.
Bye.
Now you're going to do the awkward bit where you're
Oh
like...
yeah.
Up.